someone to bury. Added to my family tree. Our love when we disagree. Our love when we fight. When you are my team, it's a good.
Okay, that was good. That was good.
When you are my team, it's a good thing. Hella fun montage movie scene. Watch it all fly by like a dream. It's a good thing.
That's just me.
I mean, you can if you want to retell the Felucia story right now.
No, we're good,
Prime
dude.
time because we're live now.
We've missed the match. It's all good.
Hey,
What's up?
We're all in. We're good. We're in focus, I think. And you know what? I'm so excited to be here right now because we are on show number 3 of
Yes, we are.
JMN, that's
Yes,
Joker's
we
Movie
are.
Network. We haven't given up on this yet, and honestly, I'm kind of just getting the vibes from it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, these have been really fun, particularly last week where we went kind of full deep dive on The Mandalorian. That was a good time, but last night was not.
Last night was... Oh, yeah. So we were going to go live last night. Chinese food wasn't sitting well, so we were all just kind of like, I feel horrible. You know what? Let's push this to tomorrow, which is why we exclusively say live every weekend.
We need space to operate. We've given ourselves restrictions before, and boy, that went over like
You know, we
an
did
umbrella
it.
and a rainstorm.
We did it once. We had a good time. We said we were going to be past it. But hey, hello everybody. How are you guys doing? If you're live watching now on Twitch or if you're watching the recording on YouTube, thank you so much for checking us out. I'm your host, Joker, alongside with my partner in crime, my co-host, Chewy Dahan, Sonic to whatever. I got nothing else.
Sonic
This is
to
Splash.
Hedgehog.
Sonic to the Hedgehog. This is Splash or Alec.
How you doing?
And as much as we are totally in the Star Wars mood as the Rise of Skywalker is getting closer, we're not talking about that at all today, because what did we get this week? A whole lot of DC movie news.
Mostly
whole lot.
DC movie news.
I mean, we got some DC TV news, but a whole lot of movie news.
Yeah.
We got a whole list. What, out of everything we've talked about already, what do you want to start with?
I think we go right into the Batman because there's multiple, developments coming around.
Cool.
this
Yeah,
last week.
so it's been going on for quite a while, but we just recently got some more updates to the casting list for everything that's been going on with the new Matt Reeves solo Batman movie, and some interesting casting choices that I never would have picked in a million years, to be honest. Probably because I never would have thought of it, and once I did, I was like, oh yeah, I could be doing that.
Yeah, I gotta say I didn't expect some of these castings for sure. But I like the idea that we're going bold. We're not playing it safe or...
They're going all out. It's kind of be like an all-star cast. And everyone's kind of worried that it's going to have the Batman and Robin effect, where they just had all-star... They had Arnold Schwarzenegger, George Clooney, Uma Thurman.
Yeah, I get that. But I think we're in a different era right now. I think somebody like Matt Reeves is a nuanced filmmaker. He gets what it's going to take to make a franchise property like this great. See Rise of the Planet of the Apes and that whole series. He crushed it over there. I have full faith that he's going to pull this together. And to the point of, there's too many stars. Robert Pattinson immediately got attacked for being Batman. Just for
like
being
straight
there.
off the bat, he was just like, bat. Yeah, literally, he was like, and Robert Pattinson. I was just like, different, but okay. And then instantly everyone's like, Twilight. Obviously, they haven't seen any other movies.
But even then, to my point is Robert Pattinson, he's a big name.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like coming in as Matt Damon. That would have been a little different.
Wasn't he actually on the board for that at some point?
But yeah, him and Ben Affleck both at the same time, I think, were...
Okay.
It was either that or Damon was up at the same time as Bale was. I don't remember.
But let's hop into the newest 3 that we've gotten so far. So castings for Matt Reeves' Batman. We've got Alfred officially cast by Andy Serkis.
I think that's a perfect pick. That's the one that makes the most legitimate sense to me. He's incredible. Yeah, all the way here for that.
We've got Penguin, which is going to be Colin Farrell.
That one is odd to me, but I'm willing to follow them where they're going. I love Colin Farrell. He killed it in Fantastic Beasts. Yeah, I like the bad guy Colin Farrell thing. I'm here.
And the latest, which did this come out last night, I think?
Yes, it was last night from Matt Reeves' Twitter.
Yep, we're going to have Falcone.
Carmine Falcone.
Thank you, Carmine. I was like, what was his name? Yeah, Carmine Falcone, played by John Turturro?
John Turturro, yes.
Turturro, okay.
If you guys don't know Turturro, he's in Mr. Deeds with Adam Sandler. He's the guy with the fireplace poker.
Anything else?
This is his best role. I'm gonna tell you.
So
he's in plenty of things, but that's just the best one.
That's going to be a little different. So let's start with it. So we got Andy Serkis, a man who is known for never actually being on screen, except for maybe a couple movies. But he's the CGI god.
He really is the CGI king, but one, Matt Reeves, Andy Serkis, long history with, like I said, the Planet of the Apes thing.
Very much
but
so.
also, Andy Serkis, very present in comic book entertainment right now. He is Ulysses Claw. He was on screen.
Yeah.
Like, he's...
I was gonna say, like, he's had a couple roles finally on screen, because most of the time he always does motion capture.
Yeah. He is kind of the lead mocap guy. That's why he was in charge of Mowgli we were talking about.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Those kind of movies. He lands those roles because of his proficiency with that technology and a way that he knows how to personally manipulate it. I'm sure he's got some kind of skill for directing, you know, to help him get there. But really, he sells his name on that kind of ability. And then more recently in the MCU, he was Ulysses Claw in Black Panther and was in Civil War. Yeah. Something like that.
He might have been in Civil War. I know he was in Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron, that's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, that's comic book movies.
See, and that's what's so weird is, like, I know what Andy Serkis looks like. I've seen him in interviews, but now every time I've, like, thought of him, all I can see is Ulysses Claw. He's, like, all covered in dirt and blood with the scraggly beard and the crazy hair, and I'm just picture this with me. So you're up there in the big screen, or you're watching this new Batman movie, and you see Robert Pattinson in the bat suit, and then Alfred is Andy Serkis in a nice tuxedo. He's got his arm with the towel over it, but it's just Ulysses Claw face. It's weird, right? But of course they're probably gonna, like, slick his hair back, give him a clean shave.
Yeah, I'm sure that they're gonna clean him up like that. But I do think, like, war veteran, like, directly out of the trenches, Alfred would also be a great choice for.
But that's like what it's been every time, and I'm okay with it, because every time, like, someone's like Alfred, they're like, just make up your own persona for it. And that's why Michael Caine from the Dark Knight trilogy was talking about it, and he said that he got to decide that, you know, Alfred was a war veteran, and he went through a lot of that stuff when he was always talking about when he was working for local governments and for other countries. And then even in Gotham with, is it John Pertwee or Sean Pertwee, because it's John's son.
John's son.
He's like full blown, like, combat ready Alfred in that. And so, like, it's been like a reoccurring thing that is just like Alfred is a jack of all traits.
He definitely is kind of that multi-tool character recently.
He's literally a Swiss Army knife as a person.
But with with Pattinson being kind of a younger take on Batman, obviously Gotham as well being, you know, very young. But yeah, it'd be interesting to just see, like, maybe the movie opens, just another follow-me situation. Like,
yeah.
You know, you sit down, the first thing you see in the theater, movie opens, and there's blood, there's violence, people are they're fighting, bodies are flying everywhere.
I can see it now.
And in the center, you expect to see Robert Pattinson.
Yes.
But instead, you find Andy Serkis holding a cane.
He says, "Isn't that right, Master Bruce?"
And Bruce is just standing there like, oh.
Alfred, what are you doing?
Like that? What? Yeah, that would be the more interesting take to me. But, you know, I guess the Batman has to be the star of the movie.
But I guess, you know, if you want to keep talking about slicked back hair, then we're going to have, after all the bodies are flying and hitting the floor, there's blood everywhere. He's got Alfred with a cane, and across the room is Colin Farrell's Penguin.
And I want him to have, like, full-on, like, pompadour Colin Farrell, too. Like, I want... Just comes in just like, you know, Chicago's 30s gangster with the, but with the hair and the whole thing. I want it all.
He's got the long cigarette and everything, with the monocle that you wanted to have so bad.
I do want the monocle. I mean, that's the best part of it.
I mean, honestly, though, like, if you picture him in, like the actual, like, the penguin suit, the monkey suit, whatever you want to call it, the full-blown, like, actual, like, white, black tuxedo with the white and black shoes and all that, it would be kind of clean. Like, I can see, like, you can see one of those shots of him, like, walking down the stairs of a building while it just blows up behind him, and he's just sitting there twirling his umbrella around. Oh, it'd be great. Avarius, thank you so much for showing off the new Salem emote. That's right. If you sub to my Twitch right now, either with Twitch Prime or you use your hard-earned money, either way, we appreciate you. You can use the Salem emote. It's fantastic, and I love it so much.
It is pretty great, I'm going to say.
So he's twirling his umbrella.
Yeah, man. I'm
just no care in the world. He's just holding his jacket right here, and he's just got the umbrella, just walking, just explosions. It'd be great.
That sounds like a world I want to live in.
All I can really see is his role as Percival Graves. Is that same thing, just like walking with purpose that he had in that movie, and I really think we're going to see that again as the Penguin.
I hope so, because I think that kind of attitude is where Colin Farrell, he lives in that life.
And I was going to say, he's really just like, he plays the bad guy.
Yeah, he does it
so well.
And he does it really, really well.
And even Danny DeVito went on to comment that he's like, I'm really good friends with Colin. I've seen everything that he's done, and I really think he's going to take a really different approach to this, and I'm excited to see what he does.
And I think that's the right approach to have here, because, yeah, all of these castings seem different. I would have never put John Turturro as Carmine Falcone. It's just not...
He doesn't look like he's mean.
I've seen him in instances where it's like, okay, yeah, I can get that energy from him, but the face and everything just seems different. But Colin Farrell as Penguin, that seems pretty different to me as well. I would have, if I was casting, probably thought of him for more like Two-Face or something like that.
That would be cool. But I mean, if you also go back a couple months, I did do a top 10 actors I would like to see play Batman on my YouTube channel, and one of them was Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
Because he would have been perfect as Bruce Wayne.
That's who I was rallying for this whole time. Like, that was my...
We stand
bet on
Colin
horses.
Farrell.
We really do.
In this house.
Ever since In Bruges. Anyway.
So then, and then John Turturro is Carmine.
Yeah, I think Turturro does Goofy really, really well. And I've seen him do serious pretty well, but I just wouldn't have put him in, like, mob boss form. But
maybe it's one of those hidden talent things. Like, like everyone who always does, like, the comedy roles really always wants to do the dark, serious roles. And then they do it, and then we're scared for them. There's a lot of times where you're just like... Oh, that's what... Okay. You're right. Yes, you should be fit for that role.
Yeah, you did that. That was
action. Okay, that was good. Don't hurt me, please.
At the end, you're just like, and scene. John, scene. Scene!
Stop hitting him! But, I mean, really, because, like, when you look at... Especially with the Carmine that we had in Batman Begins... He was an older guy, but he was just, like, really, like, not afraid to just, like, ruin your life. If he's like, look around you. Who's going to stop me if I just put a bullet in you right now? No one. I've paid off everyone in this room. And then especially with both Carmine and Salvatore in Gotham, both equally were both, like, really scary roles. So now having him, a smaller build guy, come in, but I think that would make him... That could possibly make him a better fit for Carmine, because he's like, oh, it's just this guy? Like, I can take him, but... The bodyguards around him, probably reality, not so much.
Yeah, he's got a lethal team around him. So, yeah, like I said, I'm willing to follow this path. Nothing scares me off of this so far. There hasn't been a casting where I'm like, I don't know about Jeffrey. No, it's like I'm in on everyone right now.
So you don't want George Clooney to come back?
No, not at all. Not even a little bit. Not even remotely.
Well, let's talk about some more casting stuff. Not necessarily casting, but it has come to our attention that Henry Cavill has again commented that he is still Superman. He hasn't given it up yet. This has gone on the cutting. This has gone on like the cutting board more times than Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy.
But
they just honestly, it just like, hey guys, I'm still doing it. I'll see you in 6 months.
I don't think that Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy has ever truly been on the cutting board. I think fans want it to be, but I don't know that it ever has.
Okay,
been.
That's fair. But with the case of Henry Cavill, it has seemed a little icy, at least from like the fan perspective, because we don't know the whole story, so we don't know what's going on. Hell, everyone thought everything was great when he sat there on Instagram and just held up a Superman action figure and then said nothing.
Yeah, it's like, I took that as Henry's still in, but the internet took it as, oh, Superman's dead, Henry's gone, we're never getting another Superman movie. And I was like, that's certainly a take.
Like, I watched this video and I didn't. Did you see that part anywhere? Because I certainly didn't.
I did not see that one even.
Yep, right there. It says, I'm done with Nope, didn't see that.
Right there in the background, you can see it says Superman died, release the Snyder Cut. That's weird.
I don't know about that one. so, I mean, like, honestly, like, I still want him to be Superman. I loved him in Man of Steel. I thought it was amazing. I don't know why everyone was like, oh, no, he's not that great of a Superman. He's perfect.
I like Brandon Routh a whole lot as a person, and I think in his other roles, he was great. Don't think he was a good Superman. No. Christopher Reeve, okay, different time, different era. You have to judge them a little differently because
That's fair.
We're not, acting in those roles was different. Good for the time, but still, Henry Cavill is my favorite Superman. It's not really even close to a debate either.
Even with the mustache.
Even with the mustache. Yeah, I'll take babyface Superman, like, just that thing, whatever that was.
Not wanting to move my top lip. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was weird that once it was actually pointed out to me, like I really didn't notice that the first time watching Justice League, and then everyone's like, "Have you noticed that they had a CGI his mustache?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then I went back and I was like, this is one of the things I cannot unsee.
See, I couldn't see it the first time either, but I was blasted on grain alcohol the first time I watched Man of Steel. So.
Well, at least you're honest.
I was lying on the couch, barely like. Or not
actually, I do remember that now because I was like trying to get you guys to finally watch it, and by about halfway through the movie, you were kind of not with us.
we still had that horrible pineapple juice concoction.
We don't
that
talk
Charlie
about it.
Yeah, it was bad.
We don't talk about it.
Look.
But I do want him to keep playing Superman. I do want him to be in a Man of Steel 2 if it happens. I think it's long overdue.
I think that's where they messed up in the first place. I think we should have gotten Man of Steel 2 and a Batman movie before going into the Justice League. Mm-hmm. We could have waited on the Aquaman film, Wonder Woman. I'm fine with waiting for those.
And I really hate the fact that a lot of times, like when it was mentioned, like Batman v Superman was supposed to be the unofficial Man of Steel 2, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, but like that, it didn't do anything for Superman. Really.
Exactly. I'm like, we need another one. We need a Man of Steel 2. We need more Henry Cavill. And what's going on with Amy Adams? Like, she said she was done apparently, but that was a while ago.
I want more Henry Cavill and less Martha. That's for sure.
We don't talk about that either.
I saw somebody say on Twitter the other day that Martha is like far and away not the worst twist in any of the DC movies, and I was like, wrong. Just wrong. Just nuclearly.
It would take me a while to think of something that could even possibly hold a candle to it. I'm sure there might be one thing, but all in all, yeah.
I was in the theater enjoying the movie up to that point. As soon as that happened, I was like, I want to leave. I'm done. I'm mentally checked out already. This is nope. Why? Who let this through?
I'm still gonna watch it from time to time.
With the full extended cut, maybe I will, but that's still just that literally.
I don't know. I think the third act of that movie is kind of a train wreck anyway.
I mean, I think most of the DC movies from that time are just majority train wreck, but I think there's a lot of good in BVS.
Oh yeah.
It's just that one. Oh, jeez, I don't even want to.
I mean, really, when you look at it, there's really only, I think, 3 pretty bad DCEU movies out of the 7 that we have now. And those 3 being Batman v Superman, Justice League, and Suicide Squad.
And I think there's still redeemability out of Justice League. I know I'm on like the back end of that. I know some people don't find that to be a very.
I want it to be redeemable. I do, but I mean, I know there's just a lot in that movie.
But the major hate that it got was, one, Superman looks weird. Like, you can't. Sure. That absolutely deserved. Should not have ever happened.
Also, the whole hinting of the black suit and we never got it, that made me angry because I was excited to see that.
But that could have been like a down the line thing that just never materialized. It's not Justice League's fault necessarily.
Yeah, you're right. It is Warner's fault.
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of.
At least the Snyder Cut.
But even then, I think that you gave a pretty solid roundabout performance from a lot of that movie. Like, yeah. The other actors aren't the worst. Ben is a little in that one. Great in BVS, but in Justice League it just felt like he wasn't really into it as much, or at least the cut seems to reflect that. Yeah. It could have just been that he didn't like the reshoots and that things were changed. That could be an entire possibility. I have no idea. But Ezra was okay. What's the dude's Ray Fisher? Is that who? Cyborg?
Oh, yes.
I thought he was solid. Gal Gadot was perfect. Like, Jason Momoa, bro dude Aquaman. Yeah, it's like, it works for me. Brian with the Salem emotes. What's up, dog?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I want to see. That's why so the whole thing with the Snyder Cut. I think it was earlier this week on Tuesday.
Yes.
I think it was this Tuesday was the 2-year anniversary of the release of Justice League, and everyone was tweeting, "Release the Snyder Cut." Zack Snyder was tweeting it. Gal Gadot was doing it. Even Ben Affleck was doing it. I think Henry Cavill might have. Jason Momoa certainly did. Even was it Ray Fisher? What was the guy?
Yeah.
Cyborg. Everyone was tweeting about this. Everyone wants the Snyder Cut. Just because they want to see what it was. And, I had people talking with me, Bobby, I love you to death, but come on, dude, just leave me alone on this thing, all right? He's like talking about the Snyder Cut. I don't think it's going to fix anything, nor do I want it to fix anything. Let me just get this straight right now. I just want to see it to see it. I like extended cuts of movies. I like the director's cut of movies. I like all different stuff. I just want to see it. I don't want it to fix anything. I don't think it's going to replace anything. Because chances are, if this were to come out, and like we said, we talked about it possibly going to HBO Max if that were to be a thing. Mm-hmm. Here's the issue. You release the Snyder Cut, and it's good. Let's just say it's great. It is an absolutely fantastic movie. Then Warner is going to be sitting there going, what did we do? And then everyone's going to be like, okay, well, where was that? Where was this? Where was this thing that was supposed to be a great pinnacle point in the DCEU, and you guys just fucked the whole thing up?
And then for them to already have moved on in this direction that they're going in with the solo films and
Yeah.
then trying to... It would retroactively hurt that. Because they've got a lot of goodwill and good momentum coming from these last 3 movies. Really, Shazam, Aquaman, like, those were knock it out of the park hits. Wonder Woman was great. Like, you don't want to hurt that steam that you've got going forward. I don't see a world where that is a...
I was gonna say, yeah,
smart
like
idea.
it sucked. They've made up for it, and they're getting back on track. I still want to see the 2 things in life right now that I want to see, and with no like destruction to what's already been built around it, is the Snyder cut of Justice League, and the 7-hour cut of the Phantom Menace.
I absolutely do not want to see that. Do not want me in with this guy.
I will sit there and watch it for 7 hours, and I'll give you a full written report on it.
I don't want that at all.
You're gonna get it. Well, then we can talk about other movies. What other movies we got coming out? There's all this fun talk about Joker 2.
I'm just on the meh train about Joker. It didn't really... I think it shot well. I think, like, as far as, like, scene selection, it's a great, like, directing exhibition. But as far as the story goes, it's like, it's fine. If we're getting a second one, I'll watch it. But it was just fine.
Okay, so I absolutely loved the movie. I'm excited to see it again when it comes out on Blu-ray. I will buy it. I don't think we need a second one. I really don't. I don't think we need one. If they made one, would I watch it? Yeah, sure. I don't think the story necessarily needs it. I think whether you think the ending was left open or left closed, I think it was left open to interpretation because you know what would happen next. It's Batman. It's a comic book universe. You know exactly what's going to happen. He's going to break out of Arkham, cause mayhem in Gotham. Then eventually there's going to be a Batman figure to come in and stop him. And it's just, we know how the story goes. There's no necessary need for it. But since the movie went amazing, made $1 billion at the box office, everyone's like, sequel. Because that's what happens every time.
Yeah, and...
The moment a movie makes a lot of money, they're like, we could do this again.
And I would love to see them do it again, but with a different character. I want to see
Right, and there's a
Lex
lot of
or
talk about that
something.
between Hollywood Reporter and Deadline and Variety. Everyone's saying that apparently Todd Phillips is in talks to do a sequel to Joker with Joker 2, or potentially do the same kind of formula he did with Joker, but with other DC properties. Be like, I heard Lex Luthor, I heard Victor Freeze. It would be great.
I think Freeze would be interesting, but I think Lex is probably the dominant choice.
I think Lex would be the next one if they were to actually stick with it and do it, but I do agree with you. I think this is an Elseworlds property. It should be away from the DCEU, as it already has been established. Mm-hmm. Keep it that way. Just be like, here's some other stories that you could possibly have. Not necessarily related to what's currently going on in the DCEU. Same thing with the whole, with the new solo Batman movie, because apparently that's not supposed to be related to the DCEU at all either.
I think it's set kind of before that.
Yeah, and
time.
it's a younger Batman, so
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with that.
I think we'll probably see that Batman somehow get incorporated later on. I think right now they're probably going to present it as not a part of the DCEU, but unless they really are just resetting this whole thing, I don't know how you go about it with this new movie, because that's going to be majorly confusing. The hope that they were trying to avoid with, like, well, let's not bring in the Green Arrow or the Flash for a little while from a few years ago when the TV shows came out. They're just going to destroy all of that by saying, here's a new Batman that doesn't take place in Batfleck's universe because reasons and story, and that also means we don't have a Batman in that universe right now either, and also there is no Justice League. So... Yes.
And I mean, that's pretty accurate considering, like, they really did just try to play catch up to Marvel, like, straight out of the gate, and they tripped over their own feet because of it. And I think that's the biggest issues they've had so far. So now they're just kind of like, maybe we should go back to, like, square one where we were just making movies just to make them.
And I take that catching up to Marvel thing as that probably was a motivator in their decision making. I think, unfortunately, Warner just being in the way. Regardless, even if they were making individual movies, I think Warner being in the way is what got them in this position.
I agree.
Because I think you could have handed Zack Snyder a Batman and Superman shared universe with no extra clause around it. No, we need to get to this movie or this movie. You could have just given it to him and be like, hey, sandbox it. What do you think works next? Build your vision. And he probably could have done well. Like, some people hate Zack Snyder. Some people think his directing is absolutely terrible. But... regardless, he could have done something cohesive What we got was absolute non-cohesion. Nothing seemed to connect with each other. There are glimpses of stuff in BVS that don't connect whatsoever with anything in Justice League. So, yeah, I think the studio being in the way was what more hurt them than anything. I think they kind of hurt themselves more so than catching up to Marvel hurt them. Because, like, as an idea, I think they had the right one. Like, let's hit quick. Let's get Justice League established, and then we can build. And if we want to go JLU and bring in all these other characters, you can do that. But giving somebody the permission to be like, hey, do Justice League, but don't do it your way, or I swear to God.
And then King Staxy says he agrees, and thank you for someone that actually agrees with this, because a lot of things right now with DC is that Warner's just causing problems. And it's really just because they want to get in the way. It's like, oh, so this movie's great, but you can't do that. We want you to do it this way instead. But you said it was great. Yeah. When we said it was great about that, yikes.
There was an asterisk after great.
There was an asterisk. But King Staxley, I'm curious if there's anything DC related that you've seen either recently or in the past that you're curious about and want to bring up. More than welcome to put it in the chat. We'll discuss that on top of all the topics we've already got going. What would be next? We still got a little bit of movie news. We've got the whole Black Adam thing coming up.
Black Adam, Teth Adam, whatever you want to call him, it's here.
DC is decent. I mean, Brian, you're right.
Trending up.
It's trending up. It is getting a lot better. From the start, it was... but I mean, for a long time before the MCU even came about, like, DC was dominating.
In a lot of ways, yeah, DC had the advantage. Marvel struggled to get anything big off the ground. They did the X-Men trilogy and Spider-Man. Those movies were up there.
It was there, and X-Men went on for like ever with Fox. And I'm happy that it did, even though it did just kind of steadily decline the whole way.
It did a waving thing for a while.
It did do a waving thing.
But flashback to the year 2000.
Sure.
We've had DC already get established. We already had Batman and Superman already on the big screen. They were already out there.
For quite a while, too, because the first Superman movie was, 1978?
Yes. But, I mean, we had the Avengers and stuff from Marvel, like, early on, but they weren't really doing it correctly. We had the Hulk and everything that was TV, and, Marvel was doing things, but as far as actual films were going, people were just more aware of what was happening with DC. And then you hit a point where, okay, Marvel's going bankrupt. We've got to make quick moves. Let's start giving out film rights. That'll be, the next big hitter.
And that's exactly what, give out the film rights, and they gave it to Fox, and Brian exactly had it right. X-Men was the horse Fox kept beating long after it was dead. You're right, and I bought every movie because of it.
The thing is...
I don't know why I do the things I do.
The first three, the Bryan Singer movies, like those original trilogy movies...
So X-Men X2 and X3?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they're awful. I think they are god-awful in a lot of ways. I think there's a lot of good casting in them, but I don't think the story ever matched the potential for what X-Men could have been.
See, and I'm on the side of things that think the first X-Men film is better than X2. But even then, X3 is horse shit.
Yeah,
it's
I
so
think they
bad.
just, they went off the deep end.
They're like, hey, Dark Phoenix, we didn't... What?
And then when Fox, comes in and they do the new character cast...
Oh, yeah, the younger cast and all that.
It was like a revival just for them to be like, oh, man, this is going so well. We have to Jason Todd this immediately.
X3 is dog shit. Exactly. Like,
perfectly.
And it opens and you're like, oh, this is cool. And then Professor X gets, Thanos. He gets snapped away by Dark Phoenix and you're like, what the fuck just happened?
And to me, it was like, the opening starts with Juggernaut and Rogue in that sequence. Is that the...
I think that's a little bit later because it starts with, it's the flashback with Professor X and Magneto going to talk with Jean and all that fun stuff.
And how well it's stuck in my
memory. It had the Stan Lee cameo. That's what we all wanted. He was like, oh, my water's going up now from the hose.
Yeah.
And then everything was floating and then it went to shit.
Like, I get that there wasn't a pressure on them necessarily at that time to, knock it out of the park. There wasn't this, MCU continuation thing. There was none of that was involved. But I think their major attempts, Blade, the X-Men, Spider-Man, I know they were all in different places, but the Marvel properties, other than Spider-Man, were kind of being looked at as well, these are fun, but they're not awesome. Other than Blade 2. Blade 2 is a great movie.
Blade 2. Anything that doesn't have
Triple H.
I was gonna say Triple H or Ryan Reynolds, I guess.
Ryan Reynolds, yeah.
And then he comes back, and actually that's the best thing, you know. He comes back with Deadpool, and then just is like, you know what? You're right. DC didn't get it right. And then he goes and kills himself as Green Lantern.
Yeah, and then on the DC side of things, we already had the Batman.
We had the Nolan trilogy that was just like dominating everything.
And even pre that, we had the Clooney era and Joel Schumacher and all those things where it's like, even if they weren't good, they were fun, and kids were instantly bonding with them. You had like a 5-year at least head start on a whole new generation by the time that Marvel was finally like, and here is 2000's X-Men. You've heard of them, right? Stan Lee,
Maybe, please.
Please, dear God, dear God, dear God.
And yeah, and then there was even like from the DC side, they tried with like other properties that a lot of people didn't know about, like Constantine.
Yeah, Constantine was out there, which was still weird to me that movie got made at all.
Yeah, honestly. And then what's the other one that you like? Spawn.
I mean, Spawn was. Michael Jai White is great, but I think they put him in a different movie. I think that he wanted to be Spawn, and they wanted him to be like Mickey's place.
They told him it was Spawn, but as soon as he like signed the contract, they ripped Spawn off the contract, and it was not Spawn. That's exactly what had happened.
That was Dr. Doofenshmirtz level of like, I tried to make it better, but failed.
Spawn-inator.
Exactly.
And he said, that's not what I signed up for. And they're like, well...
It's like, he did the movie and was like, all right, this could be cool. And then...
Wasn't there a Spawn 2?
Maybe? I don't remember.
We don't talk about it?
I just kind of blanked it out of my head.
But, like we said, Black Adam. This is one of the reasons I was talking about not wanting to reset everything with the Snyder Cut of Justice League, because Shazam did phenomenal. And with Shazam comes Black Adam. With Black Adam comes Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
And apparently with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson comes the Justice Society of America.
Yeah, I don't know how this whole thing works. Fill me in.
So...
Paint me a word picture.
What I suspect is going to happen is we've already gotten the description. Spoilers for Shazam if for some reason you haven't seen that.
Great movie.
It's in like the first 20 minutes. You'll be fine. We get the diatribe from Shazam saying, you know, I had an apprentice before who I gave my powers.
Dwayne the Johnson Rock.
I love my friend Dwayne Rock. But we get this, you know, opening monologue thing saying, like, I gave my powers to one long ago. Yep. He used it to kill the other members of the council.
Indeed.
But this is ancient history to him at this point. This is
literally ancient Egypt.
Yeah, it's Kahndaq. It's happening on the other side of the country, super far away from the story that we're being told.
Yes.
So I suspect we'll probably get flashes of that in the beginning of the Dwayne movie, Black Adam, if that's going to be the official title of it, or something Shazam 2 Black Adam. I don't know.
Makes sense.
But we'll probably get an intro scene of that, the way that we got a flashback with, what's the doctor's name?
Dr. Savannah?
Yeah, Dr. Savannah. The way we got him being pulled into the Shazam lair and his family and all of that, which was, I think, a great scene, if a little touch dark, but, you know.
A lot, Poco.
I think we'll probably get something similar to that with Black Adam being there in Kahndaq and somehow eliminating the council. But it doesn't seem like he's around right now.
Right.
Because Shazam didn't really lead into him. They gave us Mr. Mind instead, and the Society of Monsters or whatever. The Monster Society of Evil. We got that instead of, like, here's a Black Adam tease. So I'm thinking maybe we find out that Teth Adam, was trapped for a little while, and maybe because Justice Society of America is kind of like a 1930s, 1940s kind of property, at least the way that I've seen it is. Maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe he gets uncovered, you know, some 80 plus years before.
I mean, it would honestly make... Well, I mean, maybe not even that. Maybe it's just going to be one of those movies that, like, just happens to span a long period of time because, like, we know from the comics, and at least in the cartoons, you know, you change... You say the word power, which is Shazam, and that changes you into the older, grown version of yourself. Mm-hmm. But the thing is that Black Adam never went back to his normal self. He stayed with Shazam in his full-blown power form. And that allowed him to live for, what was it, like millennia?
Yeah.
To the point where, even in that Shazam cartoon, when he's like, fine, no power, it's just like, fight me face-to-face, man-to-man. So he says Shazam, and he goes back to him, and then just crumples to dust because he's literally ancient.
Yeah,
So I think it's just going to be one of those things where he realizes his power, he doesn't want to change back, he's going to stay in that form, and we're just going to see how that goes throughout time. Which is going to be interesting because Wonder Woman was around for both World War I and World War II I don't think there's going to be a crossover per se, but I think it would be interesting
It could be a fun little...
to see if she's aware of Black Adam per se.
It could be fun to see that side of things if they are going to interconnect like that. Because right now we're hearing that they're not interconnecting for a while, so I guess
Probably
we'll
the safer bet, especially with the next movie being, for Wonder Woman being 1984.
Yeah. So probably not any direct correlation, but it would be cool to have like a fun little tie-in to be like, oh hey, this is still the DC EU, like this is all still happening together.
Yeah, very much so, like they did with the end of Shazam with the Superman body double.
Yeah. I think that could be fun, but yeah, now that I think about it, you might be right. It could be like a was it X-Men Origins Wolverine that did the flash through time as Logan was a soldier and everything?
Yeah, or it went through literally, it started because he was born in the year 1888, and then it just showed him go through every single war with his brother.
Yeah.
But I don't think it would go that far as to just like show small glimpses of it, but I do think it would be like possibly just smaller times in life, or maybe it does just take place during World War II. Maybe that's just where his like origin comes to be, where he just starts to become more of a menace, which is why the Justice League of America, or Justice Society comes into place. And that's why there's no connection to Shazam just yet. So which would be the next movie for either Shazam or Black Adam is where they finally actually end up meeting and fighting.
That it could be. Like I said,
just because, like, you know, with Wonder Woman, they put her story way back before everyone else's, and she had her own sequence story of her, the main point in her story where it's the most, you know, I can't think of the word right now, the most prominent, I guess you could say. And it's completely separate from Aquaman, Batman, Superman, that all take place around the same 5-10 years, give or take.
And that is something that they have the power to do, because unlike Marvel, where all of their continuity has to kind of happen on the same wave, we've gone back a little bit for Captain Marvel, and we've gone in flashbacks to Iron Man's parents. You know,
and we're going to do that now with Black Widow.
Yeah, Black Widow coming back to the 80s, but that's kind of retroactive to the continuity that they've built.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like, it's going to work out A-okay. But DC has the ability now where they're like, we can put this Black Adam movie anywhere we want if they are going to do the idea of, like, it's one historical event or whatever, that's his part in it, or however they want to play that. They can put him wherever, because we know that there wasn't a hero to stop him at that point. There wasn't a Shazam. I mean, there was the Wizard Shazam, but there wasn't Billy Batson.
Yeah.
So it could be interesting, because we saw that Shazam, the Wizard's power was drained. Like, he was doing all he could to hold on, and we don't know how long he was that weak, because, I mean, he's been alive for millennia, so it could be something that, like, even as early as the 1900s, you know, the turn of that century, like, he could have just been already weak, and he's been holding it for, you know, 100 and
Do
plus years.
you think that could be a possible fight in that movie, would be the old Wizard Shazam versus Black Adam?
It would be fun. I hope it happens.
Okay.
Because who plays the Wizard? Jimon Hansu. I think he is great. I think he delivered something really, really fun as the Wizard.
Right, and so I'm thinking, you know, because they talk about there was another, but he took the power and ran away. So, and now he's like weak because he's been sitting there just trying to find someone to hopefully take up his role and defend against, you know, the 7 deadly sins, and going in with now Black Adam doing who knows what. So
yeah, we don't really know anything about where he is, and that's why, like I said, my thought would be, yeah, it'll probably be he's trapped or something, because it doesn't seem like the Wizard was actively worried about him.
Yeah.
So maybe that was just plot convenience for the first movie. Maybe it was hinting to something bigger. I don't really know. But I am excited to find out, and I want to see how the JSA gets incorporated, because there's a lot of very fun characters amongst that group. Some that look like some of the modern heroes that we have, and some you may even be familiar with, like Stargirl.
Haha. Not really. No.
Well,
don't.
You're about to get familiar because she's on our list.
Yeah, that's true. She is. So that's all, at least for the movie news that we have right now. The rest is more of the TV news and streaming news. With one of the bigger things coming out, like we just mentioned, was Stargirl, which was going to be one of the new shows that's going to be for the DC Universe streaming service, but not exclusively, because as most of us know who are into the DC stuff, this December starts Crisis on Infinite Earths, one of the biggest TV crossovers probably in history.
It probably is the biggest.
Bringing together all of the CW shows and all of the characters they've created, from Flash, Superman, the Green Arrow, Supergirl, Atom, we got Batwoman, we've got Batman now. There's a lot to it. One of the characters you can actually see, and a bit of an Easter egg in the Elseworlds crossover that leads into Crisis, is Stargirl. I pointed that out, and I was interested by that because I was like, wait, she's supposed to be a streaming service show. These are supposed to be completely different, no correlation whatsoever. But as it turns out, apparently her show is going to be going to the streaming service, but she's also going to be involved with Crisis, and that the episodes, when they go to the streaming service, will air on the CW the day after?
Yes. So
I know that was a lot, so let's slow it down and break that down.
Yeah, so Stargirl should be, from my understanding at least, the majority of her show will be disconnected from the Arrow universe that we know. Okay. But it is still a part of Greg Berlanti's DC production team. Now, that also seems to be growing because we learned last week that Green Lantern will also be a Berlanti property, but that's going to be on HBO Max or Now or whatever it's going to be, whatever the Warner streaming service is. Now, we'll have Stargirl happening in the Arrow universe, apparently. That's what it looks like. But she'll be maybe in a different timeline or at a different point in time, maybe. I don't really know how the show's developing.
Well, I mean, actually, honestly, it makes sense because Crisis on Infinite Earths is bringing together all of the different versions of them, too, through different worlds. So it's really not all that confusing to think that they could have Stargirl in the DC streaming service with her own separate show away from the CW stuff, and she's just sucked into it because all of the DC worlds are technically connected within the DC universe, and Crisis is what kind of crushes them all together.
Yeah, and I think it's going to work out, just fine. I don't think it'll cause any complications.
No, I think it's going to be cool.
But yeah, it will be premiering on the DC streaming service. But the night after, it'll be appearing on the CW, so fans that don't have the service can watch it. And then I think we'll also be hosted on the CW website, the way that the most recent episodes of the other shows are.
And I think that's a smart play, honestly.
definitely...
Especially now because we don't know what's going to happen with the DC streaming service with the whole Warner Media package coming out.
Yeah, since DC is going to apparently be packaged in together, that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
I hope that's what actually happens. I hope they keep the DC Universe streaming service because there's a lot of really cool stuff there. But we know that some of those shows have already been renewed for second seasons. Like Doom Patrol got another one. Like, where something is still happening over there. If we put Green Lantern on that side of things as well, that gives you another option to draw people in.
Especially with the comment that was made in the Arrow show with John Diggle and saying you're different in this universe without your ring. There's a thing there too.
Yeah, so maybe there's a connection. I can't say, like, we're not there behind the scenes, but
I wish.
Yeah, that'd be nice. But knowing that it's Berlanti controlled, I think that is a good sign for it, especially since Stargirl isn't, like you said, you don't know anything about her necessarily. Since she's not instantly recognizable, it's probably better to release those shows the same way that we're doing with, like, the Legends of Tomorrow kind of situation, where it's like, this is a property that is connected, but you probably don't recognize it as immediately as you would recognize Green Arrow or The Flash or
absolutely.
Supergirl. Like, they're definitely individual properties and will probably benefit for having that limelight on them. So I hope it pans out for them. I really want to see the show succeed because I think the deeper we get into comic book history and lore and the more unknown characters we can pull in, the better that this is going to be for everyone. I think you'll see certain types of representation start coming in that we've never gotten before. We're already making strides in that category on both sides.
Especially with all the Smallville talk too.
Smallville coming back.
Adding characters from, 2002? 4?
Yeah, 2004, I think.
Because there is also my theory that we're going to get the Green Arrow from Smallville too, because we do see someone in the Elseworld shot with a brighter green hood that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, so it's another Arrow or Arrow family member for sure. We'll see how that pans out. We do know that we're getting Superman on the small screen as well. Yeah, they did confirm the Clark and Lois show or whatever.
Yeah, the Clark and Lois show is going to be more of a Smallville style, but not really show.
Yeah, it's like a Smallville imitation in the CW. I don't really know, but either way, we're getting more and more DC stuff in the last 2 weeks. Then the release of the Snyder Cut thing happens with Affleck and Gal Gadot, and
it's a big thing, and that's why one of the things is, like, where DC lacks in its movies, like, its shows are just kicking ass.
Yeah, and
where sometimes, the plot may not be the strongest, the fact that there's the continuity and they're able to tie everything together almost flawlessly at times, and it's just awesome.
I do think they tire the audience out a little bit. I think there is a little bit too much. We are getting a little fatigued.
It is getting to the point where it is hard to keep up with all of it. Between we have Arrow, Supergirl, Batwoman, Legends of Tomorrow, Black Lightning. I might be missing one. Flash. So,
and that seems to be like Arrow's ending. We know that.
Arrow is
I
ending.
think Legends is also coming to its end.
I think it's trying to come to an end.
But then we've got Batwoman to replace it. That has already come in. Apparently, Stargirl is going to be somewhere in this
Somewhere
universe.
in there. Supergirl is still going. The Flash is still going.
Black Lightning being officially added into the DC
The
family.
the CW.
The CW.
The
DC
Arrowverse.
family. Yeah, Arrowverse. There you go. Completely blanked on that word. That was weird. And then we know we're probably getting maybe Superman and Lois or whatever the show is. Maybe that's the one that they were saying is coming out of the crossover. But if not, then
That's right. Because there's still the news that we're supposed to be getting a new show after the crossover.
So
maybe Static Shock.
I would love that, but again, it is getting to be a whole lot. Like
there is a lot, yeah.
And I think we're getting close to the end of Flash too.
I would imagine so.
From the way the actors have been talking about it, I feel like this is probably the last hurrah. Like we're probably on our, celebratory victory lap in the last season.
And I can't blame them for that because you're going to fall into the area of just like you're known for that one role, and that one role is going to define you for the rest of your acting career.
I think you can escape that a little faster on TV.
I think so as well, but either way, like especially like we saw, what was it, Code 6 or Code 8 or something, the movie with blanking everywhere, Stephen Amell and Robbie Amell.
Yeah.
Code 8, Code 9, I think is what it was called. But even then, watching it, I'm like, this is a cool movie, but it really just looks like Stephen Amell is just playing the Arrow outside of the costume.
Yeah, it feels like he's was it season 7? Is that the one where he's in
prison?
Yeah,
he's got the shaved head and the beard. That's this little. I think they shot it at the same time.
Yeah, but it's like that's kind of what the vibe you get from that trailer is. And I think Steven's great in that kind of role.
100%.
But yeah, for a first outing, like probably a little too close to home for that casting. But I do think he'll break out. He was already Casey in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies,
and that was honestly probably one of the best castings I've ever seen.
Not one of the best castings I've ever seen. Not by a long shot, but definitely a fun one.
I think it was perfect for him, especially since like he grew up with it. And there was also the comment in Arrow when they were talking about Wild Dog with the hockey mask, and he's like, "I think it's cool," and I was like, "I love it."
Which apparently those movies were actually like a nightmare to shoot. But...
Yeah, I saw that article talking. It was like why it was like the worst time in my life, says the director of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It's probably because they had like one actor every day in a giant green box.
Apparently it was much, much worse than that. I watched an interview on Collider. You can go find that with one of the actors. It's just go find out for yourself. Beyond that, I really do like that the Berlantiverse is expanding. I think he's got the talent to do it. He's getting another shot at Green Lantern because if you didn't know, he's the one that did the 2011 Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern.
Well.
And then, redeemed himself in a major way with the TV universe shortly afterwards.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to see where this goes, but until we see it, I don't really have any predictions for this one.
I've got, honestly, nothing. I don't know what's going to be happening next. I think it's easier now to take some of the shows out of rotation in order to make way for new shows to keep this universe growing as it continues. And we'll probably have them come back for cameos in the next couple years.
That's what I was just
here and there, but
when we have event type things, there's no way that I think that Stephen Amell wouldn't say in 4 years or so, if we do another Crisis-esque event, that he wouldn't be like, yeah, I'll come back.
Yeah, like, or even if it's just come back just to be in a scene and where it's not like fighting related, or it's just him as Oliver Queen versus being the Arrow or something like that.
Yeah, he may die, so maybe
I really don't want that to happen. But
if he doesn't, if there is a way, if he somehow makes it out,
he's probably gonna get Iron Man.
If he gets, if he does the Dark Knight Returns thing, then maybe he survives. Maybe he's just chilling.
That would be ideal for my personal health benefits. But who knows? Honestly,
it's a possibility.
There's a whole lot. So,
but yeah, I'm sure, and even the kid that plays Barry Allen, Grant Gustin.
Yeah.
I think that he's probably in the right age where it's like he could totally do the Jay Garrick type thing that that actor, I don't even know his name right offhand. Wow.
I know who you're talking about.
But yeah, the way he came back like the mentor role.
Because he was the original Flash in the 90s TV show, which I think was so cool. And they've brought him back several times.
Yeah, he's done a bunch of different stuff in this Arrowverse thing. I could definitely see Grant coming back and doing something like that. I've heard that he's had some not so happy days on set over the years, but I don't think he hates his time on Flash by any means. Like, I think this thing is still going because they have kind of formed a little bit of a family there, and that they're actually making this, enjoying making this together. And if anything, I hope Tom Cavanaugh, Harrison Wells, I hope he continues that character until the end of time. I'm infinitely fascinated by that man.
Like, literally, every time he plays a different version of Harrison Wells, it's like my absolute favorite thing, especially with HR and most recently being Sherlock. Let's go, baby giraffe. Honestly, like, the quarrel between him and who is Baby Giraffe?
Oh, Ralph Dibny?
Ralph Dibny, yes.
Yeah, that's some of the most entertaining stuff.
It's so good. He's like, "Oh, you're not the detective. I'm the detective."
And plus, Cavanaugh's layers, dude. He's done so much with that character. In the most recent season,
he's played good guy but evil, good guy just rude, good guy with no clue. Sherlock.
Yeah, he's just been the ultimate like planner and variation, even in the future stuff with Nora.
Oh my god,
that manipulator, crazy. And yeah, he's fantastic in that role.
And like he knows it too. It's like every time period they have to go to, especially with that, they go to the future and then they go back to like the past of season 1 where he's still technically Eobard. And he's like, "Oh, hello," and he's just like, "I ought to fight you right now, but I can't because timeline things, and we're in this area where the timeline is not affected, so we gotta do the thing and get."
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That his ability to do that is just again infinitely fascinating.
It's literally just like, okay, who am I playing? What time period is this? Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, like his liner notes have to be incredible.
He's just like, okay, this is going to be a reference season 1 episode.
Day 36 is when I reveal myself, so if it's day 35, I can't punch him directly in his face.
Yeah, literally every time. It's like, I can't do that. I can't get myself hurt because even I know how the timeline goes. Because as Reverse Flash, you just know everything, and yeah.
I'm sure the writers have some control of that, but for Tom to be able to keep it all together and deliver performances where even without any context to them, you could be like, "Oh yeah, that's season 1 Eobard," or later on, "Oh, that's Sherlock." Like for him to just be there in that character and no question
and even
about
with
which
the
one he is.
And the Council of Wells as well.
Yeah, and he does like 9 of them, and I'm like, yeah, this dude's just the best.
Oh yes, this is the Council of Wells.
Yeah, what a man.
He can do it all. I want to see him as Batman. Think about that one for a little bit.
I'd take him as Alfred.
I mean, I'm okay with these terms of service. I will pay for that show.
Okay, that'll be $39.99
a month,
a day.
I'm gonna cancel my subscription. Do I get a free 5-minute trial?
4 seconds.
Okay. But out of the CW, we do have other shows that are strictly for the streaming service. With one of them having one of the probably biggest reveals ever, in my opinion, as far as like certain characters go. Titans. You either love it or you hate it. There's literally no in between. I, for one, gave up 3 episodes in, and I'm not going back to it for quite some time. But the Season 2 finale has been teased, and all the trailers are out, showcasing one of the most popular characters in DC history, which is Nightwing. I knew it was going to happen eventually because of the way they were taking it, because you've got Dick Grayson as the main Robin, but now Jason Todd's in the mix, and I don't know where the story's going, but we got to look at the new Nightwing suit, the first ever official, like, on-screen Nightwing suit, unless you technically want to count Robins from Batman and Robin. It was basically just the New 52 before the New 52 happened.
Before the New 52, yeah.
They knew it before they knew it. But yeah, we got this look at the first ever Nightwing suit, and honestly, I love it. There's really only been like 2 designs. Or, okay, there's either 3 designs. It's either the actual falcon or whatever kind of bird he has on his chest, or just like the blue vector. In this case, it's kind of a mix of both, and it does kind of look like it plays from the Batman and Robin Joel Schumacher costume, because it comes down through the chest area, but it's just so sleek and so great. And apparently the budget for the Titan show is so much lower than that of the CW, yet some of the stuff in the Titan show just looks a whole lot better. I don't get it. But I mean, honestly, I love the costume. And I actually think the actor that plays Dick Grayson is doing it very well. He's a very pissed off man. He just got done with Batman at the time, which we even saw in the animated series. He was like, you know what? I'm done. I don't want to be with you anymore. Which is exactly what happens in Titans. So now he's just trying to make his own way and not be as angry, I guess. I don't know. But I mean, the costume's fantastic. That's what we're talking about. You saw it. You got to see some of the shots. What do you think of it?
I'm not the biggest Nightwing fan in general.
I'm hurt, but it's okay.
It's never been my thing.
He is my favorite forever.
But I do like the suit. It does look great. I liked the Schumacher inspired Robin look when they went that way. Even like in 2004, watching that back, I was like, oh, it looks a lot like the Nightwing costume.
Wait a second. Yeah, I was gonna say, because especially in Batman Forever, where it was just the full blown Robin suit.
Yeah.
And then it changed drastically to, I think they were trying to go for a Nightwing thing with the Joel Schumacher at the time. We're like, you know what, let's just say keep him as Robin, so we'll make this red. And then the New 52 was like, guys, I have this crazy idea.
What if we made it red?
Yeah, like we hadn't seen that already. And now they're going ahead with this new one that is basically a play off of the Joel Schumacher Robin suit.
And I'm down for it, man. I think it looks great.
I was gonna say, I think the thing is with Nightwing is like the more sleek you do the costume, the better. Because the original comic Nightwing was something else. Like it was blue and flashy, and it had gold, and it had like crazy, like his mask or whatever had like flails coming off of it, and it was something else.
I think that's beautiful if you're trying to establish the dichotomy of him, Dick Grayson, and Bruce Wayne Batman, because Bruce was always like, it's got to be sleek and it's got to be stealthy and it's got to be hard to see, and like you can have opulence.
It's got to be sleek, stealthy. You can't be able to see it in the dark. Robin, you're gonna have all of the bright colors to distract everyone while I be Batman.
Literally, it's like it was the Robin wanted to have the flashy red, yellow, green thing, while Batman was like all black,
can't see me,
super teched out, and then Nightwing comes in and it's like, I'm going to be as flashy and as pompous as I want to be.
So he
and
did.
Also, I'm
blue,
going to just
silver,
fight
gold. It was super flashy, and then it kind of got toned down and went more to just like the whole bodysuit, no capes. You know, we're not allowed for those. But I think, and that's what makes it just more sleek with the design. Is that for me, it's like depending on the character and depending on whatever it is, simple designs are where it's at. We had that conversation like about like movie covers when they just put up like just a plain picture with like the title on it. Sometimes I like that. I think it's sleek. So in this case with Nightwing just having all black with like a blue vector or a blue symbol of something on it, that's all you need. And you know who the character is just based off that.
And I think for a show that's already established the actual character behind the suit for 2 seasons, you don't need the suit to have personality. You have the guy behind the suit has the personality.
Absolutely.
So, it's fine.
And it's like, with Batman, it's either black or gray. It's simple to the point. Then there's Zur-En-Arrh Batman, which is
weird
colors.
I gotta say, I do like the blue-gray Batman thing. Like,
that was actually like for the longest time, that was like my favorite from like the animated series. When if it was either black and gray or like the gray and the blue, I was always for the blue because you never really saw it as much.
Yeah, it's like it just felt fun. And I saw someone, I don't even remember who it was, but someone was complaining online. Like, I'm not watching the Batman movie. If they go with the blue and gray suit, it was meant not to scare kids. So I'm against it. And I was like, I don't care. I liked it. It was blue and gray. There was yellow in there somewhere. I'm here for it, dude. Like, it, yeah.
This person obviously meant not to scare kids. Jack Nicholson is terrifying as the Joker, I'll have you know.
I saw he replied to like 30 people with it. I don't remember the guy's name, but I was just like, no, dude, I don't blocked. See you later, idiot.
I don't know.
Have fun talking to yourself with like 4 followers. All right, buddy.
I mean, yes, most of the stuff sometimes is for kids, but you got to realize that there is a bigger audience for this stuff than just kids. And that's just all there is to it.
Yeah, but I get this point where it's like, if they went from the scary dark Batman to the blue and gray and lighter so the kids could process it and not be scared by it.
Or maybe it's because we just haven't seen that in a while, and they're probably like...
originally the switch happened.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, if I was talking about it now, I was like, there's only so many different ways you can make a suit black and gray before you're like, maybe we should revisit the older stuff that was like blue.
But he was like, because they did this, in the earlier Batman stuff to not scare kids, I'm not watching it. I want the black suit. It has to be scary. It has to be intimidating.
Well, you're one person against 10 million. So
And even then, it was like, was the suit the intimidating part, or was it the billionaire martial artist that was literally beating people down with his eyes closed?
I was gonna say, in all
that the
honesty, he
scary
could be
part?
dressed in all pink and still doing that. I'd be like, I still don't want to fight the guy.
No, he could talk like the Mad Hatter. Like, I don't care.
Hey, kids!
Batman, my name is Batman. I would still be horrified of that person.
Yeah. There's nothing else to do it. That's literally all there is to it.
He drops down in the middle of a room. He could throw down like pink glitter and just start like beating me with a cane. That'd be like, this isn't terrible.
Because you couldn't get out of it either way.
Yeah, like regardless, he's still horrifying behind the suit. So that's the scary part.
Batman will always be scary.
Yeah, I mean, look at Zernar Batman. We have
Zernar Batman is literally like the stuff of nightmares. That is actual
nightmares.
nightmare fuel.
I'm just not good.
Like the
Not
whole
good.
concept of like a subconscious memory as a backup in case his personality was attacked. Who thinks like that?
Bruce Wayne.
Oh, okay, that's right. I forgot about that one.
That's the
That's the kicker.
yeah. That's how they get you.
I hate it.
So is that it? Is that everything?
That is pretty much everything on the list today. You want to call it for right now? We are a little bit over the hour, which is about a reasonable time.
Before we go, quick thoughts. Mandalorian episode 3.
Quick thoughts. Mandalorian episode 3. I thought it was fantastic. I hate that it's not the hour episodes we were promised, but I'll get over it eventually. In this case, I guess more less is more. We got a lot of looks at the more into the baby Yoda, not Yoda. We got some more Mandalorian action, which was pretty great. He made the comment about needing a jetpack. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was fun.
Carl Weathers got shot.
He lived.
He lived.
He lived. He's good.
I really think we're starting to get into more. I think we're probably going to see Gina Carano in the next episode.
I hope so. I think that we are getting to a point where the universe is definitely going to expand. He's off of whatever planet that the client, is that his name?
Yeah, the client.
Whatever he was on, like, sure, we're done with that part of it. We've got baby not Yoda on board. The Mandalorian fight was great. I loved seeing the full Beskar steel armor. Deborah Chow. Fantastic direction on this episode. Every scene just fit perfectly, especially the breach and clear sequence when he goes
that
in
was so cool.
and he's just knocking people out in the smoke. Fantastic.
And then flamethrower.
And this is a woman that's doing Obi-Wan, so like, mwah, yes, please.
It's gonna be so
that
great.
was amazing. I had one more comment. The guy with glasses.
Dr. Pershing.
That was a fun little reveal at the end where he was like, I was the only thing keeping him alive. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me.
Someone actually pointed out, apparently on his suit, there is a symbol or something that's apparently similar to the Camino cloning people. I don't know, that's something else we can look into off camera.
Yeah, I will have to.
Because there's talks that Yoda might be a clone. There's a lot going on there. I don't know.
I severely doubt that he's a clone.
I don't know. I don't make the rules.
Yeah, I wouldn't let you. I would delete your rules.
Why do I do this show with you?
I don't know. Barely know what I'm talking about.
That's fair.
Where am I?
But I mean, Baby Yoda 2020. I mean, that's fair.
Baby Yoda 2020 facts.
But I mean, overall though, that's show number 3 in the books.
It is.
It's in the bag. We got it. We're on a roll.
So far, they just keep getting better.
Yeah, I'm having a great time with it. So
Love it so far.
pretty much, guys, if you're watching live right now on Twitch or if you're seeing the recording on YouTube, thank you so much for chiming in to JMN, that's Joker's Movie Network. We talked about a lot of DC stuff, and I'm happy. Show number 3 in the books. We'll see you guys next weekend with whatever's going to come out of that. Maybe some more Star Wars news. We got a lot of TV spots that are coming out. We're trying not to spoil it for ourselves. But it is what it is. Maybe we'll get something from Marvel. Who knows? But regardless, we'll be sure to keep you guys up to date here on JMN. We'll see you guys next time.
On the team is a good